the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Fine. So, are you all familiar with the basic rules that you have in stress? Okay, forget about everything that, we know that we cannot be applying these rules uniformly across all the words that you find in English, but at least say 80% of them will follow this. If you can understand and recognize these rules, most of the words that you have in the language will follow these. Some of them are going to fall out of the arena. Obviously, that's going to be there. So like you've already been told that it's a little less likely predictable, but it does not mean it's not predictable at all. It does follow certain patterns. And if you know of these rules well, the ones that were discussed with you, I think you should be okay with at least 75 to 80% words that come to you. One thing that I can tell you from the point of view of the course that you're taking with us, and also the exams that you will take, because that is what concerns a lot of people. So you will not get questions, or rather words that fall out from the rules that are discussed with you. However, a word of caution to add there, it does not mean, that you get all of them right, that you've already mastered stress, because you know that there are words which will not fit into the rules that we talk about. So keep that in mind. While you're not going to be tested or examined on your knowledge of the words which do not fall within this category, it is always nice to keep in mind that the ones that the rules that you're applying will not apply uniformly across all of them. Although 75 to 82% will be covered under the rules. Okay, so that's just to add to the discussion right in the beginning. You know these things. I'm just reiterating some of them. All right. So let's look at some of them. A few of them would be helpful to us. The first one that we deal with, we'll just first look at some of those general rules, right? And then move on to the other ones. Okay. So monosyllabic words, this is the easiest one, since you anyway have only just one syllable. There is no question of where the stress falls and other things, because you don't really have a space to stress and not stress. This is one syllable. So whichever ones it has, as in whichever one is the vowel sound involved in the word, that gets the stress automatically. But it is a little difficult to observe stress in such words, because it's you do not have multiple syllables to see which one gets more thrust or more force while you pronounce them. Nevertheless, theoretically, your stress will fall on that one syllable, that one vowel sound that you have in the word, the only one that you have in the word. Okay, so nothing more intriguing here, nothing more inquisitive here. Okay, is that clear to you?
Yes.
Yes, no? Right, so this is the easiest and the most straightforward one. Now, when you talk about unstressed vowel, unstressed syllable, the most common one, the one which are not unstressed, is the vowel shwa. Okay, you see that symbol there, right? Something like a laterally inverted E, right? So that's the one, that particular vowel is the unstressed vowel in English and many languages, but mostly in English. It is called shwa. Okay, so if you have the occurrence of this vowel in a particular syllable, whether in a cluster, that by which I mean within a cluster of other consonants, or individually. Okay, that is, if you find this vowel in individual, appearing individually as a syllable on its own, or whether in combination to other consonants, in other combinations, this one definitely, whichever syllable has this particular vowel, it's going to be unstressed. Okay. If it is a diasyllabic word, it is easy, because once you figure that in one of the syllables you have a shwa, automatically you don't have to look at that syllable at all. It will definitely not be stressed. But in words with more than two syllables, you still will have to figure out other methods, because this alone will not help you figure out the stress. Okay, is that clear to you, this part? Yes, no.
Yes.
Am I audible to you or can you hear me well?
Yes.
Ma'am.
So I have a microphone malfunction, so I'm using my the speakers of the laptop. So just let me know if you cannot hear things properly, okay? All right. So is this particular thing about the vowel schwa clear to you?
Yes.
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 Okay. So this is easier if you have a disyllabic word. So the one with the syllable is going to be the non-stressed syllable, and the other one gets the stress. But in trisyllabic words, again, because as you have more number of syllables, determination of stress becomes difficult. We know that. There's no surprise in it. Okay. Now, continuing about schwa, it occurs at the ends of words such as sofa, in the middles of words such as emphasis, demonstrate, and at the beginnings of words such as around, arise. This is these, so which means this vowel, this unstressed vowel, can appear anywhere. It can be in the beginning, in the end, or right through the middle as well. Okay. Stress symbol, in fact, there are a lot of words in English which will, particularly the functional words, those prepositions and conjunctions and all of them, they they usually have these. Okay, so they usually have the schwa vowel with it. Okay, so like words like at and not and at, but about, all of them, those functional words, prepositions and conjunctions, all of them, they tend to use this particular vowel a lot. You don't get them for stress marking, but I'm just, letting you know, since we're anyway discussing about these things. The symbol for stress, it looks like it's not an apostrophe, but for the convenience, you can maybe at this point of time call it an.
Reverse post office, can we call it?
Sorry?
Reverse post office.
No, it's not actually. It's actually called a prime, but we don't, since you are not familiarized with, or you're not initiated to that particular terminology, I avoided using it. But it is not an apostrophe. You don't call this an apostrophe. If somebody asks you, you can call it the prime. Okay. So prime and double prime, you might have heard this before. So it doesn't look like an apostrophe also. It looks like a dash on top. But anyway, so there are multiple ways of representing this. You use this symbol, but I think in your materials and as in for both your assignments, exams and everything, what we do is we capitalize the syllable with the stress. Okay, so I think that's the notation that we are following. We are rarely using this one, but in technical documents, as in the books and texts which discusses stress in detail, the actual notation used is this prime. Okay. Even this is not the symbol. I did not insert it because I did not want to confuse you. Yeah, that is, so in addition to words, functional words like prepositions, conjunctions, and everything that I've just mentioned, you can find the schwa also in suffixes like er, like speaker, teacher. So everything that ends in this er, like even in a full word, in a non-divided word like brother, you have the ending part er usually represents, whenever you have an r combination, an er combination, the actual sound occurring at the end of it is this schwa, this unstressed vowel schwa. So you find it there. Why am I telling you this? If you know these things, you automatically know that this is definitely then not the stress syllable. So which is the stress syllable in brother then? If you know this, if you've understood what I'm saying, which one is the stress syllable in brother?
ER.
From BR.
Sorry?
BR.
It's ER.
The first syllable.
Bro.
Yeah, the first one. Okay. So that's what is going to, not BR. Okay. It's the first syllable, and the vowel that follows it, right? So that becomes your stress syllable. Because the second one contains a schwa, and you know that schwa is an unstressed syllable, so it will definitely not take the stress.
Ma'am, but we don't pronounce swa in brotherhood, right?
Sorry?
We don't pronounce swa in brotherhood like we pronounce in sofa or emphasis or demonstrate.
In brotherhood?
We don't pronounce swa.
No, we do. Then how do you, if you do not have that vowel, then how can you skip straight to a hood? Because her is a consonant. You cannot say it without having said the vowel, right? Brotherhood. That's how you say it, right?
So means this swa. This swa is means we not
So after the consonant the,
hmm.
what follows is the schwa. Brotherhood. Is that just you, or does anyone else also have this doubt? I mean, this is clear to me. Why you definitely pronounce here. I don't see it missing. Brotherhood. Brotherhood.
Oh.
So the her does not immediately follow. The and her cannot form a cluster, right?
Hmm.
If it could form a cluster, then you could have reduced that vowel. But the consonant sound the and her doesn't form it cannot form a cluster. Yes, no, others?
Can you
Ma'am, I am
explain it
unable
once
to
again,
understand
ma'am?
means
Sorry?
Yeah, even
we
I have
Yeah, please, one at a time. Who's speaking? This is Abhishek.
yeah, can you explain it one more time? Even I wasn't able to understand.
You should ask your question and then I can explain it to you. What is
I
it that
mean,
you did not understand?
no, what you explained right now, that swa. That swa is a sound which we use in brotherhood, or what? I mean, I was not able to understand.
yeah, we don't use the swa sound in brotherhood means bro swa here we don't call it like.
Brotherhood. The
So then
swa.
tell me, what is the vowel after the sound the in brotherhood?
Basically, E is pronunciation
E.
like brother,
Brotherhood.
Do you say brotherhood or do you say brotherhood?
brotherhood. Oh,
Yeah, the R is actually not something that should be enunciated. Native speakers don't, but we do.
Brotherhood.
Yeah. So is that A? Do you hear the vowel A there? I don't.
Yeah.
oh,
Right? It's a very light, I don't know how to put that around, but the vowel sound there is definitely not A. It's the schwa brotherhood. Okay? I don't say brotherhood, I say brotherhood.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm?
Thank you. Thank you.
Right? So
Okay,
you need to, this
so
is a
this
tricky vowel. You need to pay a little. It's so common that it's very tricky and it's a little unnoticeable also in English. That's the problem.
okay.
So you say the word like arise. You don't say arise, you say rise, right? You say go. Or if you have been saying arise and ago, then you should maybe start saying ago and arise. That's all I can say at this moment, okay? Because that's the right way of saying it. About, again, all of them, okay? So these differences you need to keep in mind. Once you have your head around this is not going to be difficult.
Ma'am, but
Actually,
what this swa means? Does it means
it's the name
sound?
given to that particular vowel. Okay,
a
because
Oh,
it's a
this
special kind of a
vowel.
vowel. It's the only unstressed one that you have in. Vowels are usually the stressed part.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know
That is what gives stress to the word. But
Yeah.
this one is unstressed, so it's special and it's given a name Shwa. That's all.
In swa, but means you said now that the word that follows after the is right?
Yeah, it is Shwa. In the word
It is,
brotherhood or brother, the one that follows the sound the is.
but first we have to write it in that form. Then only we can understand that swa is there.
No, why should you? You are not you needn't know phonetic transcription, right? You don't have to do that. If you, I mean, you can do it if you want it, but it's not a required thing. Why should you do that? That is.
If E is pronounced as then we can call it swa, like its swa is there present.
Yeah, right. You see,
Like simpler
there is no correspondence between spelling and the pronunciation.
sound.
We know that. So the E that you are talking about can be manifested in many ways. Sometimes your spelling that has an E would even be pronounced as an A. and that's possible.
Okay.
By now you should know it, right? You already have heard a lot about the sounds and other things. There shouldn't be a confusion at this stage. Okay, so moving on, we have, sorry. Okay. Then a word or two about the prefixes. Now, this is again, I'll tell you this is not something that will fit all the words, but then for majority of the words, these general rules should be the way how we go about. Prefixes, they're often stressed in nouns and less often in verbs. In verbs, you won't have the prefixes being stressed that much, but nouns may take it, okay? So, and when it comes to adjective, stress often falls on the first syllable of the root after the prefix, which again means that the prefix may not be stressed in adjective. So all in all, you can say that they are less often stressed. Whenever you have a prefix, the chances are very less that they're going to be stressed, except in nouns. Okay, and that's because of the nature of nouns. Usually, nouns, they take stress on their first syllable. That is the general nature of nouns. So because of that, even if it comes with a prefix, sometimes it takes a stress. But generally, if you have prefixes, then, and this is particularly about prefixes, the case with suffix is different, okay? There, a lot of changes can happen. But particularly in the case of prefix, they don't take stress in an ideal condition, in a usual situation. That's one thing. And then about suffix, at the end of the word, they're rarely stressed, right? We know that, except for a few nouns, adjectives, and verbs that are usually stressed. Now, this is about, the word endings like ity, ity, ical, al, tio, and they have some special rules, right? So this particular exception that is given to you, that is except for a few nouns, adjectives, and verbs, that particular part means they refer to these suffixes like ity, ical, tio, and sial. That this part is referring to that. But again, generally speaking, suffixes don't take any stress on themselves usually. Okay, they don't take it on themselves, but they can affect the way syllables are marked for the other part of the word. Like it can cause changes in the way stress is marked to the rest of the part of the word, but they may not take a stress on themselves. Okay, that's the point. The same goes for prefix also. They may not take it on themselves unless they occur in nouns. But the thing with prefix is that they actually don't affect the stress pattern of the rest of the word also. Okay, unlike suffix. Suffix can cause a change, but prefix, they don't take the stress, and they don't usually cause any change in the shift. They don't cause any shift in the pattern of the stress in the rest of the word. Suffixes, on the other hand, while they don't take stress on themselves mostly, they can cause a shift in a stress in the rest of the word. Okay, so we'll look at that later. Now, about disyllabic words, we know usually the nouns, adjectives, and adverbs, they're most often stressed on the first syllable. Okay, all these nouns, adjectives, adverbs, they take their stress on the first syllable. To look at them individually, two-syllable nouns, they're stressed on the first syllable. But if they have a long vowel at the end, okay, if the last syllable in the noun, they have a long vowel, like see in the words like career and trainee, they have a longer vowel. Okay, so in such cases, the stress falls on the last one. Okay, keep this in mind. Normally they fall on the first syllable, but if your last syllable is something that has a longer vowel, then the stress might shift to that part. Okay, right? Because a long vowel is more sonorous, it will have more peak. So automatically that is going to take the stress, right? So that's about nouns, and this applies to the other words as well, like the adjectives. Adjectives also take stress on the first syllable, but again, if the last syllable of the adjective has a longer vowel sound, then that particular syllable is going to get the stress, right? For example, the word complete. extreme, right? So the second syllable is having a longer, it has a long vowel, and hence the stress now falls on the last one, on pleat and train. Verb, what happens to verb? The stress, two-syllable verbs, stresses on the second syllable, okay? And especially if the first syllable is a prefix, yeah, it really doesn't matter. It just means that the stress falls on the second syllable, no matter what in verb, okay? Understood this part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
right.
Yes,
Now, sorry, is there a question?
Ma'am, I have a 2-3 question, but not related to this one.
Okay, if
Basically,
it is not related to this, then please keep it for the end. We'll finish
Okay.
this and discuss that. Okay,
okay, okay, ma'am.
okay. Now trisyllabic. Now, what about trisyllabic? Three-syllable nouns, again, see, one thing that is consistent about all of them is that they're all taking stress on the first syllable, no matter what, two-syllable, three-syllable, whatever it is. The case with polysyllabic is different. I'll come to that. But look at this. Two-syllable, three-syllable, whatever, the rule is remaining consistent as of now, that for nouns and adjectives, they are definitely taking it on the first syllable. Okay, so no matter what the number of syllables, especially in the case of disyllabic and trisyllabic, they are consistently maintaining their stress on the first syllable. Only in cases, the second case, look at the column 1 under noun. The nouns that are derived from verbs with prefixes, they have stress on the second syllable. So if it's a derived one, especially if the noun is something that is derived from a verb, then it will take on the second syllable. Why? Because the verbs, we know that they have it on the second syllable, right? So it basically means that after they got converted to noun, actually the stress did not change. There was no shift in the stress. That's what it means. Okay, so if it is difficult for you to remember that, okay, if it is derived from verb, then it takes on last syllable. Just keep this process in mind, that if a noun, if you have a noun that is derived from a verb, it will have its stress on the second syllable, because we know that verbs take their stress on second syllable, right? That much we know. So after you convert that particular verb into the noun, the stress is actually retained. There is no change in the shift. There's no shift in the stress involved. All you do is that you changed it to a noun and the stress remains the same. Okay. Originally, the stress was on the second syllable because it was a verb. After you converted it into a noun, nothing happened. The stress was retained. Okay. So keep this in mind. For example, the noun confusion derived from the verb confuse, right? So in confuse, your second syllable, fuse, is stressed, and after you converted it to confusion into a noun, that stress on the second syllable is retained. It's still on the second syllable, fuse. Okay, understand this part?
Yes.
Yes, no? Okay, so try to look at words when you're trying to learn the stress rules. Look at these possibilities also, draw connections. Okay, instead of simply learning that, okay, if it is derived from verbs, I'm going to stress on the second syllable. This is too much. This is too much of a hard thing on your brain to keep a track of. If you have good memory, well and good. But if not, a better way of doing these things is to understand it like this, that see, actually nothing happened to the word, only the stress has been retained, nothing changed in there. Okay. The third point, this is something that is similar to the one that we saw before, that if you have a long vowel or a diphthong at the end of your word, then the stress will now shift to that, because that is the vowel with now the highest sonority, okay, the highest peak. So that is going to take the stress on it. So the example, refugee, three-syllable word, refugee, and the stress falls on the last syllable G, because your word ends with a long vowel. In this case, a long vowel, but if you have a word which ends with a diphthong again, the stress will fall on that part. Okay, so these are the three things. Adjectives, okay, no ifs and buts, no matter what, it's going to take its stress on the first syllable. Verbs, they have primary stress on the first syllable. In the case, it's a three-syllable word. Okay, so what were we looking? So there's a slight change in case of verbs. In case of two-syllable verbs, two-syllable words that are verbs, you had the stress on the second one. But the moment it's a three-syllable one, it takes it on the first syllable. Now,
First
again,
syllable.
this, yeah, even if it is a prefix. Okay, so it is going to take it on the first syllable. There are, needless to mention, a lot of exceptions when it comes to rules like this. But just keep this in mind, for two-syllable verbs, or all the time it's going to fall on the second one. And if it's a three-syllable verb, then the primary stress will fall on the first one. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, so this is all I have to discuss with you in terms of rules. Now what we're going to do is we'll let me hear that particular thing from you. You know that there are a lot of word endings, right? Like suffixes. What are the ones that you know already of? Can you tell me a few rules? Just tell me one at a time. Raise your hands. Talk about one suffix at a time. Okay. We'll take one each.
I raised already my hand.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ion, cation, or suffix ik.
Yeah, you ION is what you mean.
E.
What is it?
Like refugee.
Yeah, that is a suffix. I think we just discussed that it's going to take the stress on itself, right? Yeah. More than that? Okay, I'll Soumyadeep. Do you raise your hand? Somebody raised your hand.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, sir, ma'am, I had a doubt actually, not.
Okay, you can ask it out.
So, my question is, what do you mean by aspirated stop? That one I had a doubt on.
Oh, we discussed it in the last class. Were you not there?
No, I was not there.
Okay, then just let's finish the stress. You know, these questions that are not immediately related to what we are discussing today, please stay back and you can ask your doubts. But if you don't have time, maybe in the last Learn the Ropes session, we had discussed about it. If you have time, if you don't have time to wait, then maybe you can go watch that particular session.
Sure.
Or please wait back. I'll come back to you once we are done with it. Okay, others, what are the other suffixes that you have encountered? There are so many of them, right? These are definitely not the ones. You have more. Yeah, Abhishek.
Able.
Able, yeah. IBLE or ABLE. So what happens? What happens? So if you have a word ending or a suffix that is IBLE or ABLE, where does the stress fall? Where does the stress fall?
On the second last syllable.
Second last syllable.
Second last for BLE or ABLE? Which one are you talking about? IBLE or ABLE?
ABLE.
ABLE.
Both actually. For both of them, you
For
will have it
both,
on the
on the suffix.
Yeah, on the second last syllable, or what you call as the penultimate syllable. Are there other suffixes which you know, put the stress on penultimate syllable or your second last syllable?
TION, Sean.
ABLE, IBLE is one, definitely. Able and able. Then others?
TION, Sean.
Magical.
TION, yes, definitely. Rahul?
Ickle, magical, critical.
Yeah, ICAL, yes. ICAL is also one. So you have ABLE, IBLE, ICAL, TION, then more?
ISH.
ISH.
Yeah, rubbish. Blackish.
Punish also.
Okay, then?
Realistic.
So that is IC, right?
Penultimate. IC.
IC, ick. Yeah, ick. That also takes on penultimate. Yes, that's right.
CAL, Kal.
Sorry?
Physical.
CAL you mean, right? Yeah.
No, CAL, physical.
Yes. That is AL. That's
Okay,
not CAL, it's AL. AL has a different rule. It's not something that fits here. AL has a different rule, but IAN, you told me about TION. Then you also have another one which sounds exactly like TION, that is IAN, right? As in the word physician. I think somebody had a doubt from the V3 assignment. Someone was asking, why does the stress fall on C, the syllable C, SI? Okay, So even
Ma'am, GLY.
Sorry,
GLY.
GLY. Word
Ugly, strongly.
strongly.
That
No,
is
no, that is
LY. That is
LY.
Then
LY.
ly.
That's
It's
LY.
ly,
No
not
GLY.
gly.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So additionally, along with this thing, you also have the IAN. That also. So whenever you this suffix shen, it actually is written in multiple ways. So you have TION. Sometimes you have ION. You have IAN. In any of these cases, whatever the spelling, that particular suffix shen is going to take its stress on the penultimate syllable. Okay. So no guess there. That's the common rule for all of them. Okay, so we have so many of them. Have we missed out on any? I don't have anything right now from my mind. Somebody in the chat, yes. Harsh Gupta wanted. That's different. This ED and ES and S and all, they're inflectional morphemes. We're not going to talk about them right now. We're just looking at the ones, which are the lexical morphemes, not the other one this moment. Okay. So, okay. So anything more? Able. What about ity? ITY? So if you have a word like serendipity, okay. How about ITY? Any idea?
It goes on the suffix.
No. I'm asking about the suffix ITY. Where does it take the stress? Does it also
Ma'am, on
follow
the
in this
first,
No,
particular?
on the first
first
syllable.
syllable.
ET first.
It is first syllable. Sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Right
Example,
before
can
the
you give me a
suffix.
word?
I'm trying to spell serendipity in my mind and I'm thinking it's first.
That's okay. So let's keep serendipity aside. Can you give me some other word that ends in ity? ITY.
Commodity.
Purity.
Nationality.
Clarity. Okay.
Yeah.
Clarity. Is it something that okay? Yeah, I understand, but more the ones where you can see it more clearly. This is okay. Clarity is fine, but a bigger. You know what I mean is something with a say more than 2 syllables.
Commodity.
Commodity. Okay. Is we'll check if commodity is possible. But so what is the basic word in commodity?
Like
So if I separate ITY, what do you get?
commodity. Commod, yeah.
No, the question, I hope you understand the question. All I'm asking is if it's a divisible word. That's all.
No, it's not.
Right?
It's not.
So be careful about this. Just because you have ITY, it doesn't mean that it's a suffix necessarily. Okay. So anyway, okay, that's not the point of our discussion. So ITY, it does not take on the first syllable. Even ITY is one suffix that will take it on the penultimate syllable. Okay. Okay, so you can add this ITY also to the list that we have already discussed. That's the only point I wanted to make though. Okay. Anything more? ITY, that's one. Dr. Sheshadri, clarity it is, okay, not clarity. Clarity is even, that one also will take it on its, it only has 2 syllables. So obviously the stress is going to be on the first one. Yeah. How about this one? Logy. LOGY.
Psychology.
Yes. Where do you think it takes? Where does it take the stress? Yeah, Ashutosh, right. Extremity is also a good example. Productivity is a good example. Yes.
Right before the suffix.
Yeah. Sorry, this is for which one? Is it logy?
Yeah, for logic.
Yeah, right. So right before the suffix. For logi, again, right before the suffix, it takes the, what is it? Stress, right? Yeah, Ashutosh, phonology, correct. All of them. Yeah, whatever comes with a logi, it's going to take the stress right before the suffix logi. Okay, that's the answer. Yeah, you're all right. I'm now getting a lot of words from all of you. Productivity, intensity. So whatever the word, the rule that applies to us is this. Okay, that it's going to take it before ITY, as in on the penultimate syllable, right? So ity fits there. Point is ITY fits that particular rule where the stress is taken on the second last syllable. We discussed logi also. Okay, more. Now about words ending in AL. Okay.
Ethical.
Yeah, ethical, magical, anything. Where does it take? Thermal, correct, Shashi?
On the first.
Question is where does it take the stress?
On the first.
On the first syllable.
On the first.
On the first syllable. Okay, on the first syllable. If you have your words ending in AL, the suffix AL, then usually 80% of the times all the stress falls on your first syllable. Okay, so magical, fatal, what is that? Somebody was giving me some other word, ethical, right? All of them are going to take special. Junak, special is not a, the AL you see there is not a suffix there. Okay, guys, please be
It's in the
careful about
word.
this. The words that you take in. So fatal, yes, it is because it comes, it's derived from the noun fate, right? So you add
Brutal.
AL and you have fatal. But special, see if you can divide the word further. If you cannot divide the word further, then it definitely is not a suffix. So please be a little careful about such things. Special is just an adjective. It does not have any AL or anything added to that. Okay. So it takes the stress on the first syllable no matter what, but then this is not a case where you have the AL suffix. Okay. Please be a little careful about that. Yeah, so that's one thing. More of suffixes. How about Y? The words that end in Y are political, right, Ashutosh? Correct.
Biology.
No, that is logi, right?
Okay.
The one that ends in Y, like say misery. Okay, words like that. How about that? Where do they take the stress?
Mercury.
This penultimate.
Mercury, no. So
First syllable.
primary, right? Primary, misery. Then
Pity,
pity.
That comes at the ARY, right, ma'am?
quality and quantity.
No, just a lot of you are talking at one time. I don't know who. Somebody asked a question. Meanwhile, who was that?
Yeah, it comes under ARY, right? That suffix. Primary. It doesn't come under Y. It comes under ARY. Suffix.
Yeah, it comes under ARY, but you can also take that as the one that ends in Y because in both cases,
Okay.
anyway, this is the first syllable that is stressed. Okay. For Y also, it's the first syllable. And for ARY also. So good, you talked about ARY. So we add that also under this category. ARY, Y, all of them are going to take the stress on first syllable. So now you have AL, you have Y, ARY, all of them which takes the stress on the first syllable. Okay. That's one thing. Okay. This, I have a few chats to read. Somebody has. Okay. People are giving words. Okay. Right. Harry. All those are right. Then more. How about CAL? We talked about AL. How about CAL?
Yeah, physical.
Yeah, no. So words like critical. Okay.
Tropical.
So all of they also fall under this category. They also take the stress on the first syllable. Okay.
First syllable.
Yeah. All of them, yeah, musical, correct, Junak. They're all going to take no, that musical is AL, it's not CAL. Okay, yeah, but in any case, they are also going to take on the first syllable. Now, we discussed ik and ix. The rule that applies for ix is rix, ix, ick, all of them, they all fall on the penultimate syllable. We looked
Second
at
last.
it.
Mattress.
Second last. Yeah, sorry. Second last. You can say second last. I'm more used to the penultimate.
No, means I was just confirming is penultimate.
Yeah, it is second last. Yeah, penultimate means second last actually. The one right before the end. That's what it means.
Ma'am, when means when we have a suffix, yes, suffix O and E, that is double E and double O, then the stress is on the double E and double O. No?
Yes, yes. Because whenever you have a long vowel, then the stress has to definitely fall on that. Okay.
On that. Yeah.
So because you haven't gotten into that, you haven't gotten into that particular theory of it. So I don't go into the details. Okay. So because there are certain things that are associated with it, but all you have to know is that if there is a long vowel, then definitely that is the one that is going to take the stress. Okay. Okay, so we won't get into the technical details, but just for the sake of marking the stress, keep this in mind whenever you have a long vowel or a diphthong, then automatically that's going to take the stress. Okay. That particular syllable, the one syllable that carries the long vowel or the diphthong is going to take the stress. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the next set of words, the words that end in, so along with this long vowel and diphthong, you have the suffixes like ESE, as in, say, words like Assamese or Japanese, or words like IQUE, right? Unique, physique. And ETTE, that is cigarette, lorette. Okay. So in all of them, where does the stress fall?
Suffix.
On those words. Okay. On those suffixes.
On the suffix.
On the suffix.
On the suffix.
Okay. So the same rule that we applied to the long vowel and diphthong applies to these as well. Yeah. All of them. Okay. So ETTE, cigarette or lorette. Or IQUE, unique, physique, or ESE, Japanese, Assamese, all of them will take the stress on that particular suffix. Okay, because the reason being they all have long vowels associated. The E's and Eek and all of them are going to have it. Et does not, but even et is going to take the stress on itself. Then what else do you have? The other kind of suffixes. We'll come to the compound words in a moment, but have we left out anything else under the suffix? I think we have covered most of them. Okay. And prefix, I already told you, they usually don't take any stress on themselves, prefixes. But some of them like, some of them may take it in certain cases, especially when they appear as verbs. Okay, when they appear as verbs, sometimes they can take it, but then mostly prefixes are unstressed and they don't cause any change to the existing stress pattern of the word also. Okay, so that's one part. So now about compound words. Okay, how does stress work in compound words? So like if you have a compound noun, then which part of the compound will take the stress? Does the first word take it or the second word? Compound noun.
First.
Say toothbrush. You have a word like toothbrush.
First one.
The first word, right? So in a compound noun, that is when you have two nouns coming together to form a compound, mostly your first word is the one that is going to be, the stress is going to be in the syllable in the first word. Okay. So toothbrush. So the stress is going to be on
tooth.
Yeah. All right. How about compound adjectives? That is when you have a combination of either two adjectives or say a noun and an adjective. How does that happen?
Rock solid, ma'am. The second word.
The second word. The second word.
word.
True. Okay. The second word, which means it's mostly going to be
Adjective.
in the compound, it's going to be on the second word, right? Stress is placed on the second word. Okay. How about phrasal verbs? If you have, say, a word like breakout or bring in. This is a phrasal verb, right? You have it's not a single, you have a combination of both verb and a preposition. So break in, break
Ma'am,
out.
Second.
Right? Yeah, miss out, fall out, right? You're all right. So the stress is going to fall on the second part, which is what? The preposition. And how about prepositions generally? Where do prepositions take their stress? So if you just have the preposition, okay, where does it take? First,
At the
second,
end, last syllable.
second, mostly second, right? Mostly second.
Second one.
Yeah. All right. How about
Ma'am, it's second stress syllable, means second syllable. No?
yeah, second syllable. Yes, of course. So phrasal verb and reflexive pronouns. Yeah, that's also one thing that I wanted to discuss. Okay, so what are reflexive pronouns? You have words like myself, herself, himself, themselves. Where does the stress fall? Usually on the
Second word.
The suffix.
yeah, on the suffix.
Suffix.
On the suffix, that is self or selves, right? So your stress is going to fall on the second part, right? Then what do we have? Any other kind of compounding? Yeah, I think that's more or less the rules that we had. Let me quickly see if I have missed out on any suffixes generally. We discussed able, all of them. Yes. Okay. T. Yeah, the ones ending with Y. Yeah, so adverbs. Adverbs, where are they stressed usually? Adverbs. Where does adverbs take their stress, guys? On the first syllable, okay? So adverbs are usually going to be stressed on their first syllable, okay? So you can look at it this way, or you can add, say, the suffix ly also to the category. I'm not using the word ly because by now we know that, or maybe if you don't know, then we know that adverbs are not just the words that end in ly. There are other adverbs also. So instead of learning that ly adverbs, because they have ly, they will take it on the first syllable. It's always good to know, to learn it this way, that adverbs take them on the first syllable, okay? And words that end in ly, the words that end in ly are not always adverbs, you know that, right? They can also be adjectives, okay? So like, say, the word friendly, it is not an adverb, it's an adjective. So don't get confused with this. The words that end with the suffix ly, they will take it on the first syllable, but that is different from the stress on adverb, okay? Although adverbs also take it on the first syllable, it is not because it ends in ly, okay? Because you have all your adverbs are not the words that end in ly. You have other adverbs like seldom or always, never, ever. These are all adverbs too. They don't end in ly. So it is wrong to say that adverbs take it on the first syllable because they end in ly. These are two separate things. So the suffix ly, if you have them in your word, then yes, it will take it on the first syllable. But it is separate from the rule that adverbs will take stress on the first syllable. Did you understand what I said? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
basically
Okay.
we don't have to go for ly, we have to go for adverb.
Yeah, no. ly, if you have in a word, then it is true that it will take it on the first syllable. That part is true. But I'm telling you that don't think that every word that comes to you with ly is an adverb. Okay.
An adverb.
Adverbs also take the stress on the first syllable, but these are two separate rules. Don't mix them together is what I meant. Okay. Although both of them say that it takes on the first syllable, These are two different rules is what I meant. Okay. So adverbs take on the first syllable, and words that end in ly, er, or, all of them, y, all of them also additionally take on the first syllable. I hope that part is clear to you. Okay. So let's do one thing. Then we'll quickly look at a few words that I have with me and see how can you do them. Maybe we'll do a few of them, and as usual, you can take back the rest of it. Duration. So this is not shared with you, right? I'll just take a moment and share that with you. Where is the file?
Duration.
See the file? See the document now, right? Yeah, duration. Yes, Rahul, you're right. Megha, why you have shen in this, no? We just discussed that it will take on the second last syllable, right?
Penultimate.
Yeah, penultimate or second last. Legal. Legal.
On the suffix. Legal.
No. If you have al, then what did we say? What part is stressed? The first syllable, right?
First
If you
syllable.
have al, then it needs to be stressed on. Yeah. All of you who are mentioning it on the first syllable, you're right. So the first syllable gets stressed here. Wealthy. Wealthy.
LD. THY.
Ends in a Y.
Yeah.
So which part gets stressed?
Last syllable.
The first one, right?
The first one.
So we just said that if it ends in Y, then it will take the stress on first one, right?
Well.
Yeah. Recommendation. Recommendation.
Again, second last.
Which one?
Penultimate.
Penultimate. Second last.
Recommend.
Da.
Second
Da
last
is the
one.
syllable that is stressed. So recommendation. Megha, right? You are right.
Recommendation.
Imagine. 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 Now, what is this word? What is it? Adjective, verb, noun? What is it?
It's a verb.
It's a verb, right? Okay. Now tell me, where does the stress fall on this?
Imagine.
Imagine. And how many syllables?
Last.
How many syllables?
Three.
Three.
Okay. Three syllables.
Three. Right. So the stress is on what? Which syllable? Where do verbs take their stress, guys? Second one, right? Second one. Verbs take the stress on second one. So the second syllable is the one that is stressed. We have three syllables in all. Total, you have three syllables in imagine, and the stress is on the second one. So imagine. Imagine.
But we say imagine and not imagine.
Oh, that I said just to emphasize on the stress part. Of course, you don't say like that. I just wanted to show you the stress. That's all. Yeah. Imagine. Okay. Confidence. Confidence. Now this ENC is also another suffix. This is also something that will take its stress on what?
On the suffix. On the suffix.
On the suffix. Let's see.
Confidence.
Does everyone else also agree? Confidence.
Confidence. Confidence.
Confidence. First syllable. Okay.
First syllable.
First syllable. So suffixes like MENT, like say government or investment and all that. MENT, this ENC, all of them, they are going to take the stress on first syllable. Okay. It's only, just keep this in mind. If it is not specifically the ones that we discussed, okay, like ITY and IBLE, ABLE, rest of them mostly, they are going to give the stress to the first syllable. Besides the one that you have in that list, most of the others are actually going to give it to the first one. So it just means that those suffixes, the suffixes like EN, C, MENT, AL, Y, OR, ER, and what else? The other ones that we looked at, in that category. These are the suffixes which are neutral. They don't give any, they don't participate in the stress giving process. Okay. Even if you add them to this, so words, the suffixes like full, F-U-L, okay, like in the word colorful, meaningful. These are those kind of suffixes which are called neutral. They don't participate in the stress. You add them to the word and they cause no change to the existing stress pattern of the word. Okay, that's the meaning. That's what we mean when we say they don't. They take the stress on the first syllable. What we actually mean is that they don't cause any change in the existing pattern of the stress. You get this point? I discussed this with you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. So if it is very difficult to remember it that way, the only thing you need to know is that, see, these are the suffixes which do not really participate in the stress pattern. That's all. They're neutral. Yeah, but that's not the case with IBLE, ABLE, ITV, ITI. They can cause shift. Then certain. First syllable, second syllable. I get answers for both of them. But what is certain? Like, is it a verb, noun, adjective? Certain. What is it? Adjective, right? Certain is an adjective. Yes. And if it is an adjective, then the stress is going to be on first syllable, right? On the first syllable. That's a rule, right? Adjectives take it on first syllable.
Adjective, nouns, and adverbs take it on.
Yes, adjective, nouns, and adverbs, they take it on the first syllable. Right, absolutely. So certain is an adjective, it takes on the first one. Next.
And even verbs take it on the first one then?
No, verbs take them on the second. If it's a two-syllable verb, then it takes on the second. The third one, sorry, three-syllable ones will take it on the second one. Sorry, first one.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one, resolution.
I was actually referring to imagine.
Sorry?
I was actually referring to imagine. Imagine is a verb, right? So it goes on the second one here. So verbs take it on the second one.
Verbs take it on the second. They mostly take it on the second. In certain other cases, it can. So I told you this, right? There can be exceptions to the rules. Okay. But if you ask me on straight ground, how does the verb work? Then I will tell you that it's on the second syllable. Okay. The safer way of doing it is to mark it on the second syllable for verbs. And okay, so which one were we on? Resolution. This is also easy.
Yeah, penultimate.
Amount is what? Verb, noun, adjective.
Noun.
It's a noun, so the stress is on
first syllable.
First syllable, right? Absolutely. Monthly. Megha, you're right.
Penultimate.
Two syllables.
Penultimate, why? Monthly. What is monthly?
Monthly.
Monthly is what? Verb, adjective, noun, adverb, preposition, what?
It's a noun.
Monthly. Monthly expenditures.
Yeah, monthly.
Monthly expenditures. What is it? Praveen, see, you guys are falling into that trap, right? It's not an adverb. Monthly is an adjective. Okay. Monthly expenditure. That's what I told you. Monthly expenses, right? So it's an adjective. It is going to be stressed on you are safe when it comes to stress because, you know, there are three strong factors here. Adverbs are also marked on the first syllable. Adjectives are also marked on the first syllable. And additionally, the words that end with ly are also marked on first syllable. So you will get it right in any case. But please learn to distinguish this. Monthly is not an adverb. It won't get the stress because it's an adverb, but because it's an adjective. And additionally, it also has an ly. That's why. Okay.
So first syllable.
Yeah. So first syllable. Reputation. Easy. This one is easy. Second last. Yeah. Ashutosh, right. Praveen, right. All of you are right. Witness. Okay. Yeah. Another one. NESS. This is also another suffix. First syllable. So basically, it's a neutral suffix. It does not cause any change. So you have a happiness or laziness or anything. The Stress is going to be retained. Whichever one, the word lazy and happy, whatever syllable is stressed in those words, they will be retained. So ness will not cause any change to it. So witness, in the case of witness, it's on the first syllable.
First syllable.
Then excellent.
Even on excellent.
Excellent.
Even that has first syllable.
First syllable. Again, another suffix which will not cause any change. Neutral one. So on the first syllable, excel. Civilization. This is also easy.
Civilization, penultimate. ZA.
Penultimate. Yes, correct. Exploit. Exploit.
Exploit.
Exploit is what? It's a. What
It's
is
a
it? Is it a verb? Noun?
I'm second last.
Second last. We only have two.
Exploit is a verb.
Only two syllables. It's a verb, so the stress needs to be on what?
First.
Second one.
Exploit
Right?
is
Second one.
Second.
Yeah. Why is imaginary? We
yeah.
already had this.
we
Okay.
already said that.
Transportation.
Penultimate.
Easy. Penultimate. Factorial has al as its suffix, so the stress is on
Penultimate.
al. Al takes it where? Musical, magical. What happened to all of those?
Okay. On
First
the
syllable.
First syllable, right? Yes.
First.
Okay. Let's look at it. Analogy. Analogy. L-O-G-Y.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first
Logi.
syllable. First syllable. Okay. Analogy. Family.
Even that is the first syllable.
Family is, don't confuse it with
First syllable.
the one that ends in Y. This is a noun and it's going to take its stress on the
First syllable.
first syllable. Yeah.
First syllable.
Correct.
First syllable.
Ashamed. Ashamed. What is ashamed?
It's an adjective.
Adjective, right?
Adjective.
So stress on
First syllable.
first syllable. Correct. Resign. Resign. It's a verb.
Verb.
Yeah. So stress on
Oh, second
Second one,
syllable.
correct?
Penultimate.
Okay, correct. Elevate, execute. Both of them are verbs.
Verbs.
Second syllable.
Second, right? Elevate and execute. Both of
First
them on the second.
suddenly is first, I guess.
Seriously.
Okay. Suddenly, seriously.
First one.
First
First
one.
syllable,
First.
right? Both
Yeah.
of them are adverbs.
LY.
Additionally, they also have ly. So
Ly.
first syllable.
So first syllable.
Yeah. Advisor. We'll
First
stop at
syllable.
some point. I think we will have
Why?
too many words. Rest of them you can, they're all the same actually. Advisor, er, ends in the suffix er. So the stress falls on first one, right?
First syllable.
We looked at it.
Yeah,
OR,
first syllable.
ER, all of them will take it on first one. Subset is what? It's a noun.
Subset.
Yeah,
So
it's a noun.
first.
First syllable. First syllable. Invasion. Okay, this
Ma'am,
one has a,
subset is a compound word, no?
yeah, even if it is a compound word, what happens to it? You have, no,
First,
how is it a
first-
compound word? What does sub mean? We don't have sub as an individual word.
Invasion
right?
is penultimate syllable.
No. Subset is one single word. It's not a compound word. We cannot break open sub and set because sub does not have individual existence. It's not used as a free morpheme in English.
Sub is a prefix.
Yes, that's right. So on
Invasion is penultimate syllable, right? The stress.
penultimate, you just have two syllables here, no? The question of penultimate comes only when you have more than that.
It's invasion, right? 3 syllables.
Sorry?
Invasion.
Invasion.
Three.
Oh, you're talking about invasion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So subset is the first syllable, and invasion, yes, it's on the second last
Second
syllable
one.
because you have the ending shin. That's right.
Yeah.
Then insect, of course,
It's a noun, so
first syllable. It's a noun, so first
It's a
syllable.
noun.
Exhibition,
penultimate.
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 Yeah, correct. Avi, you're also
Exhibition,
right.
a verb. No?
Exhibition is not a verb. What is exhibition? It's a noun.
Exhibition is a noun.
Yeah.
But it's ending with chun.
Uplift. Uplift.
So
Yeah, right. You are right. Penultimate syllabus for, syllable for exhibition. Uplift is what? Noun, adjective, verb. What is it?
Verb.
It's a verb. So
Second
that's not
syllable.
second syllable.
Left.
Okay.
Left.
So I think I have more or less covered the rest of them that we have. How about voluntary? Ends in ARY.
Second.
First one, right? Voluntary. It's a noun and again, adjective, but then ends in ARY and takes it on the first syllable, right? Improvement.
Improvement is.
Yeah. This is important. I wanted to discuss improvement with you. Improvement.
Second syllable.
So if you have the suffix ment, where does where did I tell you this thing will fall? Stress. Ashutosh says it's on the first syllable. Do rest of you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why did I tell you that it's a better way to look at these neutral suffixes? Instead of saying that they give it to the first syllable, I told you a better way to look at this thing is that call them as neutral suffixes, which do not bring in any change to the existing stress pattern of the word. The word improve is what? What is improve? It's a verb, right?
Verb.
So where is the verb stressed?
Second last syllable.
Second syllable. Right? You have only two syllables. So second syllable for all the verb. So in the word improvement, if ment does not bring about any change, if ment is the kind of suffix that does not bring any change to your stress pattern, then where will the stress be?
So the stress is on second syllable, right?
So in this word, where will be the stress be? In improvement.
Second syllable.
Second one.
Second one, I already said that it's prove.
So it's on the second one. So just keep this in mind to have a better understanding of the stress marking, especially when it comes to suffixes. Instead of simply learning these things as ment will give it to the first one, al will give it to the first one, y will give it to the first one and all that. Please keep in mind that instead of looking at it this way, please look at those suffixes as the ones which are neutral. That is, these are the ones that does not change the stress pattern in the existing word. Okay. So I'm glad we discussed improvement. So while you're marking stress with these suffixes, keep this thing in mind. Is this understood to other people who are listening as well? You get my point, right? What I'm trying to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. So instead of blindly saying that ment, okay, I'll mark it on the first one. Look at the word properly. See where it has derived from. And tell yourself that, okay, ment is a suffix that will not change the existing stress pattern. It will not participate in the stress marking process. Then you look at the base word and see whether it's a verb or whatever it is, and apply your rule there and then mark your stress. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So is this one, does the stress marking become a bit clearer to you than it was already?
Yes.
Yes. Right. So I think some of the things that we discussed should help you in becoming a little better from what you were. I hope so. So follow these things. Keep a couple of things that we discussed in the mind. I'm sure you can do it much better than you were doing before. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Right. Now, there were few people who wanted to ask some questions. Somebody wanted to ask question on aspiration. If you're still around, please come back. Else, we are done for today. If you don't have any doubts, you can leave the session.
Ma'am, sorry, can I ask one question?
Sure, please go ahead.
Ma'am, that read with us you have uploaded on Discourse. Read with us slides.
With us?
Ma'am, I'm saying read with us session you have uploaded on somewhere, Discourse or some.
So the Discourse now has a reading club, right? That's what you're asking. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
They have formed a reading club on the Discourse. You can go there. I do not know exactly the activities in there since I'm not in charge of it, but I know that there is a reading club on Discourse now. Okay. So I think you have the sessions uploaded probably for the people who come to the session as such. They are using that, and I think several other things on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Ashutosh, please go ahead.
Use fastly. We don't use word fastly. Why?
Sorry, Ashutosh, please come again.
The word fastly.
No. Fastly is
use...
a wrong usage. Fast is the adverb itself.
Okay.
So no fast.
Like we have slow, then slowly.
Slowly. Yeah. Right. That's right.
Fast. We can't use fastly.
No, it cannot be
fast.
Fast.
Faster.
It is faster or fastest. True. Abhishek? Any questions? No,
Yes,
this is
ma'am.
Abhishek
No.
Pandey. No? Okay. Yeah. Abhishek, you have a question? The other one? No? All right. Okay, guys. See you then. We'll meet next week. So you have your qualifiers on the 30th. Is this the qualifier batch? Are there people who are appearing for qualifiers too here? I mean, I know there are people who have taken it later. Qualifiers.
Yeah, Jan 30 qualifier.
Okay. So you have the qualifiers on 30th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So I hope the sessions we had will help you in some sense. If you have doubts, you can ask now. We won't meet before your exam. But yeah, of course, you have the live session also. So if you have serious doubts, you can come in through the session and clear it with Professor Rajesh. Okay, all right. So I do not have anything more to discuss with you. I'll upload all of these things on your supplementary tabs. You can check them from there. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. I'll see you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello? Close the music. Okay. Thank you. Okay.